Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Taking Toys Too Seriously. I need to preface with the title of this video. I was originally going to title this one just Pre-Order Culture, but then I realized I have so much more I just need to rant about and get off my chest, that this video is just talking about getting things off my chest. Because as toy collectors, we all have so many things that are bothering us, that are getting under our skin as, as we collect, as we get new stuff, as we, sell off things. There's, especially in this day and age, toy collecting is, with how expensive it is, with problems that are coming up, it's not as stress-free as it used to be. It's never been stress-free, right? There's always been struggling to get certain things, this, that, and the other, but it kind of used to be more fun. Now it's just frustrating. Uh, let, let me, uh, let me just start with talking about what the original title was going to be, pre-order culture. I have noticed that companies, especially Hasbro, have been forcing pre-orders down our throat. Like, you have to pre-order this. Pre-order it to get it. You need to pre-order it. You need to have it. Pre-order it now. Pre-order, pre-order, pre-order. You don't need to pre-order stuff. I only just learned so recently that I don't need to be pre-ordering this stuff, because everything I pre-order, I walk into Target and I see it first, or, I maybe find it on a deal, this, that, and the other, or I can just wait. Pre-ordering stuff has been such a nightmare for me financially, because I have been just relaxing, I've been chilling, and then all of a sudden I check my phone and I get a notification that a pre-order that Hasbro said wasn't going to ship for another couple months is coming next Wednesday. And I look at it and I'm like, well, let me check my bank account. Oh, nice. It is $100 less than I expected it to be right now, because Amazon charge, Big Bad Toy Store, whatever. These pre-orders have killed me financially, because I just lose so much money all at once, and I have to just deal with it. I have to work with that, and it's a nightmare. Sometimes it's an absolute nightmare working with, pre-orders where, you don't pay up front. Now, granted, with pre-orders you do pay up front with, there's not many sites that do that. However, a lot of those sites, they charge you for shipping, and sometimes they upcharge it a little bit. And also, sometimes you just don't have the money to pay up front for something. Maybe if I want to pre-order something and I absolutely know, I have the money for it now, but I want to get it later, that's not bad. Like, for me, I have to pay up front for premium Bandai Gundam models. I have about, 6 P Bandai Gundam kits on pre-order. They're all paid for. I've paid for all of them. I made sure I had the money when the drop happened. I'm like, okay, I've got the money for Gundam Rose, for, Psycho, Doga, this, that, and the other. I had the money, and I did it. However, with Hasbro, they shove pre-orders down your face, like, you need to pre-order this. Well, we got all these new pre-orders. Pre-order it now. And then you see pre-orders start selling out here and there, and you're like, well, maybe I should pre-order it. So you do pre-order it. And then they charge you months earlier and when you weren't expecting it, and it's a hassle. So, Tarn, you see here, I pre-ordered him. And I'm kind of happy I pre-ordered him, because, it kind of guaranteed I had it, and it was one I really, really wanted. However, I could have gotten it earlier if I had shopped around, saw it in stock a few other places. I just saw it at Target today. I only got Tarn about a week or two ago. If I would have waited a couple weeks, I would have gotten it in store. It's not like Transformers are super hard to find in stores nowadays, because they're not. At least in my area, I'm pretty much guaranteed to find every Transformer toy at least once in my area. And it's nice, I don't have to worry about pre-ordering tons of stuff. And I still do. Well, not anymore. I went through... I mostly pre-order on Amazon, but I also had a lot of pre-orders on Big Bad Toy Store and a couple other sites, and I canceled. The latest Legacy Evolution wave, I canceled all of them but Prowl, because I really wanted Prowl as soon as I could. And sure enough, Prowl wasn't supposed to ship till May. It's coming next Wednesday. By the time this video goes up, I'll have already probably filmed the old versus new on that animated Prowl. It's so funny. I'm happy that's the only one I kept, though, because if I would have kept all the others from the wave, I wouldn't have been able to afford it. I seriously wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. All those other toys, I kept ones that were pre-sold out. Like the Big Leader class Dinobot, I think it's Snarl? Yeah, it's Snarl. I kept him because he had pre-sold out. Because I want to make sure, I might find it in stores. I probably will, but I want to make sure I don't miss out on the Dinobots. Like for me, I want to make sure I pre-order things that might be hard to get that I don't want to miss out on. Because there's many things where it's like I used to pre-order it and I was like, yes, yes, need, that I just don't pre-order anymore. Like Scorch, Republic Commando Scorch right there. Uh, I did not pre-order him. I just went to GameStop on the day of release and I was like, hey, do you guys have this? Because it wasn't on the shelf. And they're like, oh, let me check in the back. I think I saw him. And they brought him out and I bought it. I had the money on the day of release and I went and got it at the store. That's the healthier way to do it, in my opinion. However, there are some things like Gundam Aerial in the middle there, which is an absolutely fantastic model kit, by the way. Also, the show is amazing, especially the music. Oh my gosh. But that kit is very hard to get right now because everyone's loving the show. Everyone's loving it. I did pre-order that on HLJ, Hobby Link Japan. I did pre-order it and I got it. And that was one of the last HLJ orders I ever did because the shipping there got insanely expensive. So I entirely canceled all my HLJ back orders and pre-orders, and I had to abandon it because I couldn't do the shipping anymore. And there's many other Witch from Mercury kits that, like, they're selling out and then they come back and they sell out. Like, I still want the Lafrith from the prologue because that prologue was amazing. I want that one. But it's sold out everywhere. However, Bandai reliably restocks stuff. I'll get the Lafrith. Like the Faract. The Faract just got restocked. I don't really have the money to order it right now, but it got restocked. I'll order the Faracts probably on payday, It's with Gundam, it's less stressful because I know I'll get it. I might just have to wait a while. But it's one of those things where, like, the Lafrith sold out, Thorn's sold out, but I'll get them. It's no rush. I'll get it when I get it. However, there's other things that might be a little difficult to get, like McFarlane. I haven't been buying McFarlane stuff like I used to. Like, I wanted the Dark Knight Trilogy Wave and Arkham City stuff, but I haven't got any of it yet. I've just been waiting. And I started to wait a little too long on the Arkham City Catwoman, and it sold out on Amazon, and it's starting to go up in price on eBay, and it sold out at my local Target because it was sitting there for a while, and I'm like, well, crap, I really want that Catwoman. So I went to Big Bad Toy Store. Thankfully, they still had it, and now that's in my pile of loot. It's one of those things where you kind of got to keep an eye on things because, like, you want to wait for sales, but then things they sell out super fast. And then you're like, oh, crap, I need this still. It's not like Gundam where, it sells out and you're like, okay, I'll wait for the next reprint. Because they'll reprint stuff. It's Bandai. They're model kits. They're not like action figures where they always need to change it up. With model kits, they'll always release new ones, but they'll always reprint old ones. It's great. Like, I build and get model kits. Like, they just reprinted the Methus from 2006. I got that one and built that one recently. I feel like Gundam is probably one of the least stressful things for me to collect right now, because they're still fairly inexpensive. They're still, easier to get. They still get reprinted. But here is my next problem. It's not just pre-order culture. I have spent so much money on toys. So much money since COVID, it's not even funny. It's genuinely embarrassing. I'm in a situation in my life right now where it's like, yeah, I put a lot of my money into savings and I pay for, like, my own things here and there, but I'm still, it's 2023, someone my age, fresh out of college, I'm not going to have my own place right away. I'm working there, I'm getting there, but, I still have, let's just say, luxuries and advantages of my current living situation. So it's not like I'm, struggling for cash and, I'm worried about, not having a roof over my head next month. Thankfully, I'm still in a situation where I'm okay in that department. That's one thing. I would love to be able to go out there and do that and be able to afford more things, but since COVID, man, this economy is trash. I was looking and I'm like, well, I was planning on getting my own place after college, but I think I should wait a little bit. I'm not mostly talking about, you can't talk about toys and expenses and everything without touching on the economy a little bit, because the economy has really impacted the price of toys. Really impacted it. Like Scorch, $30 right there. Tarn, after tax, he's the price of a leader class back in like 2011. He was nearly $40. Gundam Aerial, still like under 20, still not going too expensive there, which is good. But, man, I've spent so much money. And I feel like a lot of it too is just like you're almost encouraged to just buy, 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 buy. There's so many options now on like things to get. Like with the new Batman movie, The Batman. You know, there's Spin Master, there's Hot Toys, there's McFarlane, there's Lego, there's tons of other companies that made stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, I want a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Where before I would have just maybe gotten one figure. But I just feel I have this collector personality where I just need to collect and have things. And I have so many things. And it's really, you know, I've spent a lot of money, man. I've spent a lot of money. Now, granted, I wouldn't have been able to spend as much money as I do without this YouTube channel. Truthfully, like the money and income I earn from this channel funds my hobby. That is basically what's going on. That's what happens. You know, that YouTube check comes in and I'm like, all right, that's the toy money right there. That's how it works. That's how it goes for me. You know, and I'm happy that I have this outlet to talk about it and to also, you know, give in and also get some stuff back from it. It's very nice, and it's a good way for me to keep this going. But talking about Gundam real quick, you know, I used to always have a backlog, right? You know, I kept them by my desk. I built one kit and I'm like, oh, I've got 6 more I need to build. And, you know, I might go like a few weeks without building one and then I'll build another. And, you know, it's more of a slower thing. But I'm currently sitting on nearly 30 Gundam models in my closet that I've just bought. I've just bought them. And it's like, why did I do this? I could have waited. I could have held off on certain things. But see, since like there's a huge like slowdown on Gundam during COVID, and now that it's like back in full swing, like my hobby stores have so much in stock and websites I order from have so much in stock, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get them. And P Bandai just keeps releasing stuff after stuff, and you know, that's a lot of money there. It's like, it's my main, it's like one of my main sections of my hobby, and I don't mind putting the money into that. I don't mind having all those kits in my closet. I genuinely don't. But I feel like the problem comes in with everything else I want to collect. Like Transformers is also, like, Gundam and Transformers are like my main 2 things when it comes to what I put my money into. I just love the robots. And Transformers are also getting very expensive now, and they're releasing a lot. You know, they've got Legacy going, they've got Studio Series going, they've got Earthspark going. There's going to be Rise of the Beast going alongside all of that. You know, there's a lot going on, and I still like having some money to go back and get some older things. You know, I still like being able to do that, but I feel like I have less and less freedom and wiggle room to do that. But still, I feel like since COVID, I've gotten so, like, I don't want to say this, but essentially, like, not as financially responsible as I used to be. I just spend my money, and I just, you know, I've gone over budget on certain things, and I'm like, why'd I do that? But then I'm like, oh, I really like it, but, you know, then I get other things, and I spend the money on it, and I'm like, awesome, I just spent $30 on this thing I'm just going to put on the shelf, and, you know, then I look in my rooms, and I'm just, like, so overwhelmed with everything I have, and I'm like, I don't even touch this anymore, why do I still have this? And it's the hobby has gotten more stressful for me than it has in quite some time. Now, granted, I need to preface this with, this is 100 trillion gajillion % a first world problem. I said earlier, I don't have to worry about, you know, losing the roof over my head. I don't have to, you know, there's so many things. I don't have to worry about food, survival, shelter, you know, transportation. There's so many things in my life that I don't have to worry about that other people do. I don't have severe medical problems. Sure, I had an injury last year, and that did cost a lot, but I'm not, you know, in a very bad situation in my life where it's like, I can't buy this stuff. You know, I can buy this stuff. This is a first world problem, absolutely. Some people would look at me and be like, this is a, you know, 20-something minute video about just some guy complaining about the toys that he buys. Isn't this sad? Isn't this ridiculous? I mean, not really. Because when you think about it, you know, I've, like, looking at the hierarchy of needs, you know, like, I have a psychology degree, so kind of looking at, you know, the hierarchy of needs, you know, and, you know, reaching, like, enlightenment at the very top. You know, I'm past the bottom, the steps of the pyramid, and I'm kind of midway and everything. You know, everyone has their own struggles at their own, you know, level of hierarchy. And for me, my hobby is a part of my life. Is it something that I need in my life? Is it a part of me? Not necessarily. Like, I could live without spending all this money on all these toys. I don't need all this stuff. But, sitting back and building a Gundam model and just relaxing for an evening, that really helps me out. Getting a new transformer and, fiddling around with it, transforming it, posing it, having fun with it, it genuinely brings me joy. Getting a new clone trooper, especially like Hot Toys ones. Oh my gosh, Hot Toys stuff is some of my favorite stuff right now, and I should probably mention that. That's a lot of fucking money. Excuse my language, but I'm just going on my own way here. I don't care about censoring myself. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And I've really been enjoying those too. And I get a Hot Toys. I got the Hot Toys Phase 1 Clone Trooper recently. Phase 1, Phase 2, just the plain white one. And I got it and I looked at it and I'm like, this is one of my favorite things ever. And I look at a lot of my other Clone Trooper stuff and I'm like, it doesn't even compare. Like, this Hot Toys thing makes me so happy. And comparing it to other stuff, it's like, why do I have this massive army of Clone Troopers when this one single one makes me happier than almost all of them? So I've even looked at my Clone Trooper collection, and I'm like, how much of this do I even really need? Like, really, how much of this do I need? And it's getting to the point where, like, I have a lot of stuff, and I've spent a lot of money, and I walk in my studio, and I haven't done a collection tour in ages, because my rooms and everything, they're getting cluttered, because I just have a lot of stuff. And I like making sure I display it all, and it's getting more difficult for that. And I look around and I see all this stuff and I'm just like, man, it's kind of overwhelming. It's kind of overwhelming me. It's so much. And I think back and I'm like, I know I don't need this stuff in my life. So then you ask yourself, why do I have this stuff in my life? If I have so much of it and I don't need it. And I was thinking, I'm like, well, it makes me happy. I like having things. I'm a collector. I have a materialistic personality. I like having things, but it's getting to the point where, how much of this do I need, if I could wipe the slate clean and get rid of all of my toys and have all of the money from all of my toys, all the tens of thousands of dollars of my toys, what would I do with that money? Would I rebuy a select few? I think I would. I think I would go back and rebuy some that I really missed. Would I, rebuild collections? I think I would. I think I'd rebuild certain collections, because especially like looking at my Transformers, like my Cybertron collection makes my soul so happy. My classics and generations, I love those. I love all my different Optimus Primes. There's so much. The Transformers are probably my favorite overall toy collection, but the Gundam models, I love those too. Whenever I come in my room, I'm always looking at the Transformers and the Gundams. I don't pay much mind to all my other stuff. Even my Clone Troopers. I don't look at my Clone Troopers too much. And a lot of people have pointed out, like, man, you should make more Clone Trooper content. Why don't you do a lot of clone stuff anymore? Because I'm not interested in them like I used to be. I'm just not. I still love clones. Like, getting the Scorch right here, I love this Scorch. It is probably my favorite Black Series figure. I love that Scorch. But, man, I have so much, and I don't feel like I can appreciate it like I really want to right now. And who knows? I don't think I'll ever get rid of all of them. I don't think I'll get rid of all my clones, but seeing my massive army, like, I'm kind of turning around and I'm seeing it. A lot of them are getting yellow now because they're so old. I like them. I do like them, but then I just want to turn around and look at the robots instead. And I want to pick one off the shelf and fiddle around with it. Like, right now, my eye was just drawn to the, believe it or not, it was the Commander Class Megatron from Dark of the Moon. My eye was just drawn to that, and I'm like, I want to pick that off the shelf and transform it. Like, that's how I relax. I just pick a Transformer off the shelf and transform it. I pick a Gundam model off the shelf and repose it. Because those are my favorite figures to pose. I love posing the Gundams. But I love other collections, too. Like, recently, I've really been getting into Kenner Batman stuff. And also some Toy Biz Batman. Just, like, retro Batman stuff, essentially. I've really been getting into, like, Batman toys in general. Like, DCUC, Kenner, this, that, and the other. I love them. Because Batman toys are a pretty big part of my childhood. I really enjoyed them. But then I think about, like, oh, maybe I should get this McFarlane one, this, that, and the other. And then I'm like, is it really making me as happy as, this Kenner one is? Because it's like I got the Kenner Val Kilmer and George Clooney Batmans, the one that looked the most like the movie. I got those recently, and I just look at them, I'm like, they make me so happy. They're so nice. They're not even fully posable. They're not even, like, 6-inch articulated. They're just like, here's the original 1997 George Clooney figure, and I'm like, yep, that makes me happy. You know, I don't need a toy to be super articulated, mega cool for me to love it. That's just not who I am. I did a whole, like, my recent taking toys too seriously was on, like, why I'm not a big 6-inch collector. And that's another thing, too. Like, I have a lot of 6-inch stuff, and some of them I love. Like, the DCUC Batman stuff, I love those. Those are probably my favorite 6-inch figures. But then I also have, like, a lot of Marvel Legends still after selling off a lot. And, you know, I look at those and I'm like, how much of these do I really need? It's like, that's the difference between want and need. Because, like, when it comes to need, one could say, you don't need any of these toys. And you're right, I don't. I don't need any of these toys to live, to eat, to breathe, to be comfortable with my life. I don't. But in a sense, like, you need to be happy in life, and these toys are a large source of happiness for me. You know, they're not the biggest source. Obviously, that's like friends, family, people close in my life. You know, that's probably the largest source. But, you know, the toys are an escape for me. If I don't want to interact with people, if I don't want to talk to people, if I want to have time for myself, I go in my room and I just look at my toys, pose with them, play with them. But I notice myself, like, getting overwhelmed with the amount that I have and not happy with how they're displayed. And, you know, some I'm like, why do I really have this anymore if I don't appreciate it? Like, I've sold off several collections. I'm working on, like, trimming down certain things. I got rid of a lot of my NECA Assassin's Creed. I sold off my Assassin's Creed stuff, almost all of it, to a friend. I'm getting rid of some Avatar The Last Airbender stuff. Little things here and there I've plucked out. Little knick-knacky things I've just acquired that just give me stress. Like, why do I have this weird, like, Mission Fleet Din Djarin with Grogu, with the speeder? Why do I have this? And I get rid of stuff like that, and it makes me a little happier, but then I go back and I get overwhelmed again. And I'm like, what can I do? What can I do to, like, cure this? And I thought about, like, taking, like, bookshelves. And, like, I basically drew out bookshelves, and I mapped out, like, what toys I want on what shelf. And I got to, like, so many different bookshelves. I'm like, I have all, like, it was getting to, like, almost 20 bookshelves just where I was plotting out, and I'm like, I have so many toys. Why do I have so many toys? Do I need 20 bookshelves of toys? Oh my gosh, it's so much. Because I love having everything on display. That's my thing. I love displaying it all. You know, I have some things in storage, you know, like I've got some weird Kenner Batman variants in storage. I love digging through those and everything. I've got some old G.I. Joes, some leftover Star Wars figures, this, that, and the other. You know, I've got some stuff in storage, but it's, for the majority, everything's on display. Everything's on display. And, you know, it's gonna get to a thing where it's like, you know, when I move out, you know, especially going back to that in this economy, I'm not gonna be in my forever home as my first place. Definitely not. Like, I've already been looking at places. The kind of place I'm going to be moving into, I'll be lucky to have enough space for like 4 or 5 bookshelves, you know? So I need to think, like, what do I really want on those bookshelves? What do I really want to have in my place with my collection? And it's like, well, I love my Hot Toys, because yes, they're very expensive and they've cost me a lot of money, but some of them are gifts. Actually, a lot of them are gifts, because whenever I, you know, you ask for a gift, I'm like, yo, I really like these Hot Toys, you know, you give me one of those. Those are really important for me, and it's like, you know, what if I just had, like, when it comes to Clone Troopers, what if I just had the Hot Toys ones and nothing else? When it comes to Iron Man, what if I just had my Hot Toys Iron Man and Iron Patriot and nothing else? You know, would I be happy? Would I be content with that? And in many ways, I'm like, yeah, I think I would. Now, granted, I miss a lot of the ones I miss a lot of them, but, like, you know, if you don't see it, you don't really miss it, you know, in many ways. So it's like I would sell it, it'd be gone. You know, maybe I would miss it if I saw it again, like, for sale somewhere else. But it's got me thinking, like, should I really cut my collection down that much? You know, because the money's been an issue, and the space is an issue, and definitely will be an issue. And I've thought about it, and I'm, like, lost for words. I don't know the answer. Because some collections, it's an easy answer. My Hot Toys, untouchable. Not unless it's a life or death situation, you know. I'm never going to sell those things. My Gundam models, good luck selling Gundam models, you know, pre-built without their boxes and all their accessories just dumped into drawers, you know. I'd have to sell that off in one big collection, and I wouldn't get a lot of money out of it. And I love them. You know, I've built every single one. They're like my own little children. Not really like that, but you know what I mean. in certain Transformers collections, like I could never get rid of my Cybertron stuff, and there's a lot of things I couldn't get rid of. But then I look over, I've got a whole like shelf on the wall of like Clone Trooper knickknacks, like a Pez dispenser, a bath toy, a McDonald's toys, chess pieces, Unleashed figures, a Tactics, and I'm like, I don't need any of those. I don't need any of that stuff. Why do I have it? Because they're clones, and I think they're neat, But at the end of the day, like, if I'm really struggling for space, am I going to keep those? Am I going to display those? No, I'm not going to display those over Gundams or Transformers or Hot Toys or some of my absolute core favorite, Batman, Spider-Man, G.I. Joe. Like I have so many things, too. It's getting to the point where it's like I have a lot of this fluff, but it's still stuff I really enjoy. So I think I have a current solution to my problem. This is my current plan of attack for my problems with toy collecting. First of all, the pre-order problem, I've settled it. I've canceled all my pre-orders, except for a select few on things hard to get. I've canceled almost all of them. I would say well over half my pre-orders I have canceled. And I have no plans to continue to pre-order items. Not unless it's something I really, 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 really want. Like even the latest War for Cybertron video game stuff. I pre-ordered those and canceled them the next day. That's when I decided. Like, I'm not going to have pre-orders on those. I'll get them when they're in stock and when I have the money. I don't need a pre-order. So with the pre-order problem, I think I've solved that. My next problem, spending all the money. I just need to more firmly budget myself, and I think so far I'm working on that right now, and I think I'm doing good. Like I seriously have had to turn down getting certain things right now because, like, I get paid bi-weekly. That's how I get paid. So sometimes I get paid, and then the weekend I'm like, boom, there goes $100. There goes $200. And I'm like, well, my toy budget's going down already. I mean, yikes. $200, I shouldn't even be spending that, in 2 weeks. What am I doing? And then for the rest of the week, it's almost like with some, like, people who, are living on their own and, don't have as much disposable income as I do. They, buy tons of stuff and then they're like eating on ramen the rest of the pay period. It's kind of like me, but it's like, oh, now I've bought toys and I can't, oh, this thing came out. I can't buy that for a little bit. But I'm going to budget myself better. I want to make sure that I really make sure, I said make sure twice, but I'm rambling. It's okay. I can forgive myself. It's okay. Pat my shoulder. I'm making sure that I don't go over that budget, that I stay firm, even if it's something, oh, it's a really good deal, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a good deal, but I don't have the money right now, so I need to, budget myself so much more than I have. I need to go back and stay on it. Like all those 30 Gundam models I have in my closet and like the 6 P Bandai kits I have, I don't need to be going back to the hobby store for a while. Save on money there. Don't go back to the hobby store for a hot minute. You don't need to. You don't. Maybe if you got a little bit of extra money, maybe go there, spend $20-$40. Treat yourself, but don't like go there, spend hundreds like you have. Chill that out, man. Don't go here, there, and everywhere. Like, the toy department has gotten thousands of dollars for me since they opened about 5 years ago. I haven't been to the toy department in over a month. I'm trying my best to budget, to really focus. I'm going to be going to a convention here soon. By the time this video goes up, I will have already went, so I'm not even going to mention it here. I don't really advertise when I'm at a convention. I'm not that kind of guy. But, I need to make sure I save my money there and maybe only get a couple little things. Don't go too overboard, man. Just because you're at a convention, don't go overboard. So, budgeting. Going back to budgeting and not just blowing my money, and especially now that I'm cutting pre-orders out of my life, that's going to be so much easier. Because pre-orders don't care about your budget. They don't. They charge you and the money's gone. So keep that in mind. I think the pre-orders will help with the spending. Absolutely. But then the last thing, the overwhelmed feeling that I have about my toy collection, how overwhelmed I feel about, having this, that, and the other, and the fact I'm like, do I even really need this? My solution for that, I'm still going to go through and, pick some things off shelves and sell them on. There's still some things I want to cut back on, but there's some things I don't think I'm ready to make a decision on yet. So here soon, not like super, super soon, like within the next few weeks or months, but like as I hopefully, fingers crossed, when, the housing kind of gets a little cheaper and I'm a little more prepared to go out on my own, I'm going to start, leading up to that, I need to start packing my stuff up. Like just packing it up. Like, because, I could just leave everything out on display here and, my family said they don't mind, but I'm like, I just want to have it packed up. So I'm going to pack it up, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to take what is, when I initially move, I'm going to take what is very important for me. So it'll be, Transformers Classics. I still call it Classics, but it's kind of like the Generations, Legacy, War for Cybertron trilogy, that kind of stuff. I'm going to take those because that's, one of my favorite collections. My Gundam models, my Hot Toys, and a select few cherry picks here and there. My absolute favorite things. I'm going to take those, and I'm going to have those with me for a while. And everything else is going to be stored away. I don't know how long. I don't know, the time span on that. But it'll be stored away. And when I'm able to, I'll go back and, I'll open things up and I'll look at it. Like I'll open up the box of, knick-knack Star Wars stuff. And I'll be like, did I miss any of this? No? Okay. And I'll take it to, whatever toy store, toy department, House of Plastic, whatever. I'll be like, give me a number. And I'll get rid of it. I'll list stuff on eBay. I'll trim it back as I feel necessary. If I miss it, it's one thing, but if I didn't miss it and I open it up and I'm like, why did I even have this? Then it's gone. Simple as that. And I feel like I need to make decisions before that phase in a way. I need to look at certain things, especially large things, and really decide how much do I need this? Because this is taking up a lot of space. It's worth a lot of money. How much do I need this particular thing or this, that, and the other? And I might make many decisions before that stage even comes. Fingers crossed I do, but I see myself, like, when I pack things away, like, not everything's going to come back out of that box to be displayed proudly. It's going to come back out of that box to be sold to another owner that would appreciate it far more than I did. Because my toy collection's immense. I've been a lifelong toy collector. I have toys in my collection still from when I was 4 years old. Like, lifelong toy collector. I didn't get rid of anything that I felt was super core to what I really enjoyed with toys. And, in many ways, I already know there's many things I'd never get rid of. But then I feel like there's some things I get, and it's just a checklist. Like, the vintage collection. I saw Vel Sartha at Target today. I don't have her yet. And I looked at her, and I'm like, this is $13. I'm good. I don't need this. I looked at it, I'm like, I don't care about this character. The toy doesn't look interesting. And I'm not a completist anymore. So I passed it up. I highly doubt you're going to see a review of Vel Sartha on this channel because I don't care about her. I'm going to review Cassian. Right after this video, I'm going to review Cassian because he's great. Love that Cassian. But the Vel, I just looked at it in the box, and I'm like, I don't care. There's nothing in that box that interested me. And I was like, I don't need that. I don't need to check it off a list of, like, characters and everything. Because collecting's become such a checklist kind of thing, I don't do that, man. There's so many things that I look at that I would have bought back in the day that I just straight up am not anymore. But I'm still spending a lot of money. I'm still, feeling overwhelmed with everything I have. Even after everything I've cut back. Like, I've cut back on Marvel Legends. I've cut back on Star Wars. I don't even collect Black Series anymore. There's many things I've cut back on, but then there's many things that I've, like, gone full throttle. Like Transformers, I'm like, full throttle. Gundam, full throttle. I'm starting to get into master grades. Oh, boy. But, like, Hot Toys especially, oh, my gosh. I never thought I'd have so many Hot Toys, and there's still, like, I still have, like, 3 on pre-order, 3 or 4. 4. I've got Clone Pilot, Jessie, Tobey Spidey, and Robert Pattinson Batman. And I'm still, like, I'm not going to pre-order them because I don't do pre-orders anymore. But I'm going to get Michael Keaton Batman, and I'm going to get Tom Hardy Bane. Like, I think I'm going to get them. So, like, yeah, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of toys, it's a lot of stuff. And I feel like I really need to prioritize. You know, like, if I have Hot Toys Christian Bale Batman, and I'm getting Hot Toys Tom Hardy Bane, and I might get Hot Toys Heath Ledger Joker if they put out a new one, do I really need the McFarlane 7-inch ones? Do I really need those? I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Ultimately, at the end of the day, at the end of this video, the answer is we'll see. We'll see. We'll see where my collecting goes. We'll see. I doubt I'll ever stop entirely. I've seen many collectors just quit cold turkey, get rid of all of it. Doesn't matter how much sentimental value. You know, doesn't matter how much they still like the item. They just quit cold turkey, get rid of it all. I don't think I am... Oh, I nudged the camera. My bad. I don't think I am emotionally or mentally in a position where I could or want to do that. Because I still love toys. Toys are my passion, man. You know, they're my hobby. I'd love to be more of a part of the toy industry. I'd love that. But yeah, you know, we'll see where this goes. You know, we'll see how much I keep. We'll see how much I get rid of. We'll see how much I still buy. And a lot of things, like you can see on my channel, it reflects what I still get. I don't do a lot of Clone Trooper reviews nowadays because I don't buy a lot of Clone Troopers. Like, I haven't gotten an older 3 3/4 inch Clone Trooper in ages. I mostly just get whatever new ones they release. Like, I think Havoc's coming up here soon, the TVC Havoc. Really looking forward to that, you know? That's one I'm looking forward to. I think when I get that, I might change my tune a little bit. But ultimately, you know, I need to make decisions, and I already have made decisions. And I think, ultimately, this video is almost 40 minutes. This has been me getting everything off of my chest. That is what this Taking Toys Too Seriously video is. I needed this. I genuinely did. I really did. And I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people are really stressed right now with how expensive things are, how much they shove pre-orders down your throat, and how much stuff you have. And it's, you know, this isn't supposed to be a stressful hobby. Never was supposed to be. But, you know, some days I look back at everything I have and it's chill. I'm chill with it. I like having what I have. And other days, you know, I have a pseudo heart attack and I just have to walk out of my room and, you know, lay on the couch or something. It is what it is, man. And like I said, we'll see. We'll see. But I've made these steps now, and I'm confident in these steps. I am looking forward to spending less money on toys this year than I have in previous years. That is my goal. And we'll see. We'll see. I'll have to make more cutbacks. I'll have to, you know, sell more things off. But I think I'm on the right track. And I think I'm feeling more comfortable with toy collecting than I have in the past few weeks. Alrighty. There we go. We're nearly at 40 minutes. I am wrapping this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you feel. If you want to, like, make a video response, YouTube doesn't have an official feature for that now, but hey, if you just want to make something similar, like getting things off my chest, feel free. You know, we all need to just rant. We all need to complain, and we all need to, you know, ease our stresses. And I think, for me, YouTube is my outlet for my hobby. I don't participate on forums. I don't really use social media. YouTube is my outlet. That's how I express my hobby to the world, is YouTube. Okay, there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special shout out to channel members as well. Thank you all so much for the continued support. They were able to see this video early, you know, because channel members, you know, they get some special perks and everything. If you want to be a member, awesome. You don't have to, but I appreciate it. Alrighty, there we go, guys. Have a great one. I'll see you in the next video. I need to take a drink of water because all that talking, I am thirsty. See you guys. Bye.